To get it out of the way, I'll just tell you the answer straight up. It's media.
Good morning, officer. Good morning, officer. Good morning, officer.
But I will urge you not to roll your eyes and run away after hearing that. Of course, things are more complicated than a single word. After all, how often do deep personal questions get answered that quickly, even when the answers are right there in front of you? Literally. Criticism of media, and more importantly, the way that media is communicated, isn't something new. It isn't from the 21st, 20th, 19th, or 18th century. It's been around for, at least from what I can tell, a couple thousand years, but I assume a lot longer than that. Even Socrates was dissatisfied with the new forms of media communication at the time. He felt that the written word, which was growing in popularity, in a time where most information and stories were still transmuted verbally, would rob us of our memory and ability to recall. He stated, "The discovery of the alphabet will create forgetfulness in learners' souls, because they will not use their memories. They will trust to the external written characters and not remember of themselves. You give your disciplines not truth, but only the semblance of truth. They will be heroes of many things and will have learned nothing. They will appear to be omniscient and will generally know nothing." Doesn't the last part of the quote sound eerily familiar to our current state of affairs? They will appear to be omniscient, but will generally know nothing. You might be wondering at this point, wait, I thought we were going to be talking about why nothing feels real anymore, not the history of media starting from ancient Greece. I thought we were going to be talking about how I watch 15 seconds of a vertical about a reaction channel who's watching a streamer who's watching a bank robbery or public freak out before swiping up and watching something else about the ever-increasing global tensions before turning it all off and staring at the window or looking down at my hand, wondering if any of this is real. This is where I tell you that the history of media, and more importantly, the medium that everything is packaged in, is directly intertwined with that feeling that our everyday world is starting to feel a lot less real. But chances are you already knew that. People say that sort of stuff all the time in everyday conversation, or at least something that kind of sounds like it. I spend way too much time on social media. My attention span is so bad. I need to go touch grass. I miss it when Instagram felt like something I could get away from. That's why I felt so comfortable telling you the answer straight up at the top of the video. It isn't any secret, but let me add a little wrinkle to it. The reason nothing feels real anymore isn't because of media, but it's because of the medium.
Tonight, scientists talk to the animals, but are they talking back?
You might have heard these collections of words before. The medium is the message. It's a famous phrase coined by the communications and media theorist Marshal McLuhan. In 1964, he began to change the way that we think about media. In one of his most famous essays, the chapter titled the very same phrase that I just mentioned, he begins in the first paragraph, "The medium is the message." He goes on to say, "This is merely to say that the personal and social consequences of any medium, that is, of any extension of ourselves, result from the new scale that is introduced into our affairs by each extension of ourselves, or by any new technology." What does he mean when he says any new medium is an extension of ourselves? Well, think about it. What is a car if not an extension of our legs? Or a camera if not an extension of our eye? McLuhan would add, electric circuitry is an extension of our central nervous system. The new electrical devices at the time, the TVs, allowed us to feel things outside of our own personal bodies. TV culture in the 60s was huge. Families would lump themselves together and spend hours watching. People all across the United States and beyond would all be experiencing the same instantaneous programming as their other fellow citizens. They were all feeling the same thing. McLuhan reported that electrical information devices, or televisions, had altogether wiped away the very concepts of time and space. You could be sitting on your couch in Portland, Oregon and be instantaneously transported to New York, New York, watching the Ed Sullivan Show and seeing the Beatles perform live, all being none the wiser that what you were actually watching was a pre-recorded tape of something that had occurred weeks in the past. With the TV, you could be anywhere, anytime. Your attention programmed by a group of executives who have decided on the best possible order of programs to make sure that you stay fixed onto the couch all night. McLuhan noted that this had a damaging psychological effect on the very concept of the individual. At the high speeds of electrical communication, purely visual means of apprehending the world are no longer possible. They are just too slow to be relevant or effective. Unhappily, we confront this new situation with an enormous backlog of outdated mental and psychological responses. We have been left dangling. Our most impressive words and thoughts betray us. They refer us only to the past, not to the present. Electric circuitry profoundly involves men with one another. Information pours upon us, instantaneously and continuously. As soon as information is acquired, it is very rapidly replaced by still newer information. Our electrically configured world has forced us to move from the habit of data classification to the mode of pattern recognition. We no longer build serially, block by block, step by step, because instant communication ensures that all factors of the environment and of experience coexist in a state of active interplay. McLuhan referred to this phenomenon, the instantaneous communication between one another around the world, as the global village. Everyone's privacy and state of affairs are flipped inside out to be examined by anyone at any time. Nothing is hidden and everything is out in the open. The events of the world now happen simultaneously, and there's so many of them that we cannot be concerned with what is going on in our own lives, or in our own houses or neighborhoods. We could no longer recede into these private stories of ourselves, of our loved ones, of our extended families, of the community of people. We were now all, unwittingly, involved with every other person around the world. McLuhan said, with this new round-the-clock information, children at the time would be born into a state of womb-to-tomb surveillance, where there is information on every single second of every single day of their lives, where no mistake could ever possibly be hidden, and everything would be remembered. Now, once again, I want to remind you that McLuhan was writing this about television in the 60s, when there were only 3 channels. By today's standards, that technology is a fraction as immediate, up-to-date, and interconnected. If the medium that transported information across the United States and abroad in the 1960s was that invasive, according to McLuhan, well, if he were here today, looking at our digital world, I think it'd be pretty easy to understand what he would have to say about this. All the issues, all the problems have been exacerbated 100-fold. Our medium isn't a 2-foot by 2-foot heavy box with tubes, but instead it's a 5-inch LCD screen that goes with us everywhere we are, incessantly providing us with new information from any possible source across the globe it can pick up on. Or to be more specific, information that it will algorithmically provide us. Stuff that it knows will keep us on whatever platform, app, or device we're using. How can we be expected to be present in the real world when our medium robs us of the very senses that we use to represent that reality? For many of us, we spend equal to, if not more time looking at screens than we do not looking at them. In today's age, it isn't electrical circuitry as an extension of our central nervous system, but it's the digital as an extension of reality. When we say to ourselves or to others, "Oh man, I really need to get off my phone, I spend way too much time on it," we think that we have the power to exit this world. But look around you. The digital isn't some small portal that you only gain access to or can restrict access to by turning off the phone that's in your pocket or that you're watching this video on. The digital is an ever-present entity that's poked and prodded its way into each and every corner of modern society. Money is but a series of digitally represented numbers that get transferred instantaneously from account to bank to Amazon. Apps now start electric vehicles and serve as their keys, and I use my phone to gain access to my apartment building. A screen plays advertisements to me while I fill up my car with gas as I look down and scroll even longer on my favorite social media. Despite living in one of the biggest cities in the world, Many of the social interactions you have occur online, on these digital platforms. The new cities are YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, whatever it is that you use to interact with others, share ideas. I go to see what a creator is talking about, or comment on someone else's comment about the video. I hire a photographer to take a photo of my proposal just so that I can post about it later onto social media. Because how will it be true unless it's represented digitally? Or I make a YouTube video talking about the effects of communicating these ideas on the very platform that I'm sharing it on. About 3 minutes ago, I said that our medium is a 5-inch LCD screen that we take everywhere, which is true. But it isn't only that. The medium of our time is a omnipresent digital realm that follows you wherever you go. Even after you turn off your phone or stop watching this video, shut your computer, go on a walk without any technology, if you go on a walk alone, it's still there. It follows you because it follows everyone else. Every object, every purchase, every interaction with a piece of media. In fact, it's nearly impossible to perform any action in the physical world without some sort of involvement with the digital. That might sound crazy, right? I could jump up and down right now. Nobody will know but me. I'm just gonna jump up and down or do some other random action. How does that have anything to do with the digital? Well, it would, because whether you like it or not, you've been interacting with this video, at least passively, and you would only be doing that because of a prior digital interaction that you've had. Even the desire to escape the digital world and live presently within the physical is just a reaction against it. If you have a desire to train a certain way, dress, speak, read a certain book, or watch a certain movie, eat healthy, drink well, improve your sleep, it's likely because you've been influenced digitally. And it might not have been from your phone screen or tablet or computer, and it might not have been from another digitally influenced person either. It might have simply been a random desire, or better yet, you might have simply come to the conclusion through introspection. But even with those, you must wonder, how can I be sure that it's not being digitally influenced? The way our minds have been stretched and extended across the entire world through this digital realm, it's really hard to be sure what's coming from us, or to go even further, what is us? What is me? What is this person? Why does nothing feel real anymore? In a way, it isn't digital as an extension of reality, but reality as an extension of the digital. As the world moves further and further in that direction, the digital world will increasingly become the dominant one, the dominant reality. It's already kind of like that. A lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people do things physically so that they exist digitally. And unless we all collectively strip ourselves from the digital and plant our foot firmly into the ground of the physical world, it's going to stay that way. And I don't want this to sound all doom and gloom or, oh, I think this is so deep or anything like that, because this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Digital worlds offer a lot that physical worlds can't offer. I'm able to communicate to you right now because of this digital world. And I think that's a good thing. It's convenient to be able to entertain ourselves whenever we want. It's nice to have interactions streamlined. And the digital has saved many, many lives through advancements in technology. I'm not trying to pass judgment either way, but I do think that it's important that we acknowledge the current state of affairs that we all live in. Many of us acknowledge it passively, but I think it's important to actively think about it. Where do my ideas come from? What parts of the digital is my mind stretched across? And how does that influence me as an individual? Why does nothing feel real anymore? It's because nothing is real, or at least the reality that many, many people spend a lot of their time interacting with isn't. And the worst part is, it's not even our fault. I can't enter my apartment building without opening up an app, and I can't get Mendocino Farms without scanning a QR code. And I haven't even brought up AI. Now, I'm supposed to end this with a uplifting sentiment that will empower you to make change. But I don't know how, and I can't. Gotta go outside, man. Okay, that's a wrap on the Marshall McLuhan. The Medium is the Massage book. The Medium is the Massage is a book that he made after The Medium is the Message, because the medium like works us over, like works over the body, like a massage works over us. And it's like a play on words. So it's a double meaning type thing. I had to read this book for class back in the day, and I was like, wow, this is a really prescient book. This guy must be a dune sniffer, spice smeller type thing. Yeah, I thought this was a interesting video to make. I haven't, to be honest, there's a lot of Marshall McLuhan that I haven't read, but I don't know, this topic interests me a lot of the time. I'll just be out and about and I'll suddenly think like, why am I doing this? Oh, I'm just doing this because I heard something online about this and this, or somebody told me. Or like, you ever have these interactions with your friends, and since they're your friends, they kind of have a very similar algorithmic feed as you, at least relatively. And so they'll bring up some information that like you heard on this obscure video that you saw or obscure article that you read, and you can like hear the article like spouting out of their mouths because like they're just repeating what they read. Yeah. Anyway, the digital world, the real world, it's all interconnected at this point. Yeah, but I didn't want to make this super doom and gloom. Like, you can be present. You can disengage from these digital artifacts. Like, you can not go on social media and it would be wonderful. You can go on walks in the morning and it's good. And honestly, that's what I think most people should do. It doesn't help that I'm contributing to the problem, right, of social media or anything like that. But oh well, gotta hopefully make a living somehow. Here are today's stats. I should say sources.